manager. Evening all. It's good evening all, I should say. Early start. I figured I was coming out in the shop. Hello, shalom, rambling dilettante. Hi. Shavua tov. I figured I was coming out here anyway. So I thought that I might as well start off and go live. And whenever anybody wants to join, they can join. So where we are today is I'm continuing with this full bent pipe. It's the first full bent that I'm doing. I mean, I have done pipes which can be classed as full bent, but that's full bent. Hi Dave, Patrick. So we're going to start sanding that soon, but before I do that I want to load the whole bowl. I have not had the pipe yet today. So today I received a delivery from Copper Joe's, which I've been waiting on. It actually didn't take too long. So I got some of this Sutliff vanilla cream, is it called? Something like that. It looks like it's called Sutliff 792 or 592 or 292 or E92. I can't quite read the writing up there. Maybe 592, I don't know. So I got that, and I got some of the Matt, the vanilla roll cake, which I've been wanting to try for quite some time now. I've got to tell you, I'm amazed that this made it through. Hi Tony. I'm amazed that this made it through. The aroma from this bag, it literally takes over the whole room. The bag, before I even opened it, they came in the post today. I didn't open it until sundown. And it literally, the whole bag, before you open it, the aroma from this is just unbelievable. It's just so overpowering. It's a very, very American aromatic. It's soaking wet. To me, this is like Malta Dolce. If any of you guys, actually, hold on, don't Sutliff make a Malta Dolce? They do. I think that's one of their private reserves. Well, that's what this is like. Vanilla flake and GLP soup. Very nice. So this is, it's extremely. This is it's normally an aromatic that I wouldn't usually smoke, but people have talked about it so much, and the professor smokes it, and I have every respect for him. So maybe my respect levels are going to go down after I try this. God forbid. But it's very soaking wet. It reminds me of maltodontia. If any of you guys have tried maltodontia, then. So this stuff, the question here is whether or not this is the same as the loose cut, which is what I've been smoking for quite some time now, and I would say that it's my go-to. So this is, I'm still waiting on yours, James. This is the one from Copper Joe's. Queensbury Cigar and Pipe. Cool. Okay. Should we crack the tin? This is the loose cut. I must be honest, this finger, I'm not giving you the finger, but I'm having a lot of trouble with this finger. I spoke to the doctor on Friday and he says that it's called trigger finger. I don't know. It's basically something to do with the tendons all the way up the arm, but it's been giving me a lot of trouble. I can't do anything with it really. I mean, I can't put any serious pressure on anything. So to open this, I would have to use my left hand, which is not something I'm accustomed to, generally speaking. He said he's referring me for some specialised treatment, and hopefully that'll work. Oh, incidentally, new chuck is on the lathe. I'll show that to you soon. Well, Cass Piper. Top of the evening to you, boy. And there you can see the spun little medallions, the coins. Well, I've got to tell you, my initial first reaction is, hey Morgan, nothing like the loose cut in terms of aroma. I'm barely getting vanilla. There is vanilla there, but I'm barely getting it compared to this. I mean, just look at the two tobaccos. Look how much Cavendish is in this one compared to that. And this, to me, looks much more like a vanilla-y, sort of earthy, it smells like earthy, much more earthy, much more vanilla-based, maybe a dark fired or something like that in there. I could even say a touch of Latakia, but I don't think there is any. Hi Todd, it's easier for me to call you by your handle because I won't remember your name. And don't be offended by that, I'm just useless at remembering names. I can try, but I can't promise that I will. There's a little bit of humidity there. Not a huge amount. I'll let that sit out for a minute or two. According to Per Janssen, is it Janssen? Anyway, he says, the guy at McBaron, he says that the way to do it is to stack the coins, fold them in half, and put them in. So, pipe-wise, I've got them in my pocket. I brought two pipes out. So both of these are aromatic pipes. So on the possibility that I was going to try some of that, but I think I have to be in the mood for that. Hey, Ohio Piper. So this one I smoke Blend 131 in quite a bit, so I'm going to set that aside for now. But if I had to give a one-word description or separation or contrast of that to that, That's without even smoking it. I would say mature, and that's aromatic. That's more of a mature sort of approach to an aromatic. There doesn't look to be that much Cavendish in there. Let's see what it says on the back. 400-year-old tradition of spun tobacco is introduced to the modern aromatic taste. A roll cake made of whole Virginia leaves with a touch of soft black Cavendish and a gentle note of vanilla. Yeah, so that makes sense. It's a much more softer approach to the aromatics, and probably more of a mature Virginia smoke. But it is a great looking coin. I do like the look of that. But aroma wise, there is a touch of the vanilla there, but hardly. But it is there. I think the more you smell it, the more you get it. So there's 4 coins in there. Ciao vecchio Nando. Hey Boris, how you doing? How was the virtual pipe club? I didn't manage to get on this evening. Alright, here goes. I'll probably do a separate video of this, just focusing on the tobacco, as an impressions video. My only worry with this tobacco is that on the vanilla cream, the tobacco comes through so well, and somehow they get the two sort of, normally, traditionally, opposing styles. Virginia tobacco, yes, with Cavendish and other bits and pieces, but essentially a Virginia base and a heavy flavouring of vanilla. But somehow, in the loose cut, it just marries beautiful. It's a marriage made in heaven. It just works. I would say that if I was asked, is there anything I could do to improve this blend? I haven't tried the flake version. I don't know what that's like. I would guess that it's somewhere in between the two of these, but I don't know. If I could do anything with this one, I would say that if you sort of rated the vanilla flavor at 100, I would tone it back to 90. So really just a very small amount, 10%. And just bring that, the casing down by 10%, no more. So I'd still have the vast majority of that casing there, but just bring it back a touch. For me, that would be a good way to make that a little bit more of a mature smoke. I've obviously not smoked this one yet, but to me, I wonder whether this one works. To my preference, anyway. Because if the vanilla is really very light, which I suspect it will be, then the base tobacco has to be superb. The Virginia base, the Virginia and the Cavendish really is there to carry the casing, usually. unless there's some burley in there. And it could well be that some people found the loose cut too heavy on the vanilla side, and people said they wanted something like that, but much more stepped back on the aromatics, and it could be that's resulted in the roll cake. So different tobaccos will work for different people, but from my perspective, it's there, the vanilla, but it's really quiet in the background. There's a bit of a nutty flavour. But there's this, like an earthy component to it, which I got in the aroma as well, in the tin note. I'm not quite sure what it is. Sometimes when you put a very small smidgen of Latakia, sometimes you get that. It's almost like when you have Bob's chocolate, you don't initially realise that there's Latakia in there because you get the aromatics, the chocolate, the Lakeland, and you don't realise straight away that there's a bit of Latakia in there, and then it slowly dawns on you. I don't think this has got Latakia in it, but it's that early flavour where it doesn't really taste like Latakia, but there is something earthy in there, mulchy in there, which gives it a bit of an earthy flavour. I don't know if I like it or not yet, James. I've only had a few draws. I'm really just speaking as I experience it. It's definitely smoothed out a little bit now. It was quite coarse to start with, and that's what was giving that kind of earthy, abrasive almost flavour. Folding stuff will make it slower, for sure. That's pretty much what I did with these cakes. I just folded them in half and put them straight in. I put 4 coins in, and it really wasn't. It was quite loose in there, but the tobacco expands as it warms up, so it's fine, and it gives a good draw. You pack in 5 or 6 rolls, and you're probably going to end up stifling the smoke. I've had plenty Boswell tobaccos, not of late. The only one I smoke at the moment is Northwoods, but I've tried. When I first, in my early days of smoking a pipe, I was hooked on the chocolate cream, is it called? Cocoa cream. I was hooked on No Bite Delight. Hey, Cliff. And I still have half a dozen of their blends, whatever I've got left of them since I've smoked them originally. So, after just a few minutes of smoking it, if I had to give a verdict right now, I would say this isn't for me. Obviously, I need to smoke it a few more bowls, but I think the progression for me will be to try this mixed with the loose cut, and that might well give me that little bit of dilution, which will make it perfect, maybe. The Casa, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not something that I would be mad for. But I can see experiments down the line. James's suggestion just there was quite a good suggestion. But for me, I think it's going to be mixing it with the vanilla cream loose cut, which I'm hoping will make some magic. I could believe that, Dave. And I could see that it will take me a few balls to really get the nuances of the blend and to actually start appreciating the vanilla flavors. Like I said, it's based on my first few draws. It could be that I'll turn out to love it. It just, as we stand now, if I had to give a verdict, it's actually gurgling on me as well, which I very rarely get. That, by the way, is if you've got gurgle in a pipe, put your palm over the top and 3 sharp shakes downwards and just sort of stop sharply at the bottom. And what that does is it draws all the moisture out from the shank into the bottom of the pipe and it will stop the gurgle. It may come back after a few minutes, but it'll just temporarily at least, because with a filtered pipe you can't break it down and you can't get a pipe cleaner through it. So that's just a way to do it if you want to just get rid of that gurgle. I don't have a second phone out with me, so I may not see all the messages. Cliff, Steve. Well, give it a go, Strat, and see how it goes. Carl, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for the shout out today. And thanks for featuring one of my pipes. I appreciate that very much. I hope it really is one of your best smokes. Yeah, purging a pipe, that's a good idea. And it actually refreshes the flavors in a pipe as well. If you come back to a pipe that's been out for an hour or two, if you purge it, you can refresh the flavors a little bit. Hey Daniel, how you doing? It's Saturday, so I won't have made any pipes today until nightfall. I've only just come out into the workshop. So I'm just continuing. All I've done is put this pipe on the big sander to get rid of the sort of the bulky parts of the pipe, and I'm going to start on the sander in a minute, but I just wanted to spend some time with you first before I get to working. Full bent pipe, you've asked me about that a few times, Daniel, so we'll see how this goes. About making full bent pipes. You've also asked me about bulldogs, we haven't got to that one yet. It's not a bad smoke, James. I'm not disappointed with it. It's just not, when I talk about a smoke which, if I'm sounding like I'm criticizing, all that will mean is I'm not going to chase after it. But I can still enjoy it. It's not a smoke which I'm hating, not by any stretch of the imagination. My son's not doing too bad, Daniel, thanks for asking. He's been eating more, but he started to get aches in his legs today, so I don't know if that's anything to do with it. My daughter so far has seemingly fared better, but she's been talking about not tasting stuff, so we'll see how that progresses. Still early days for her. Layla Lulu, hello. That sounds distinctly French. Bonjour. Moroccan. My uncle comes from Morocco. He's a Sephardic Jew. Two uncles, in fact. Retrohale actually is very nice. Retrohale is spicy. It's nuanced. Do I make London Fog? I just made a batch the other day. I made about. I combined 200-gram tins, and I think I made about 175 grams. I kept back about a quarter of a tin of Virginia Woods. So it was 100 grams of Orlik Golden Sliced and about maybe 60%, something like that, of Virginia Woods. Yeah, so that's Virginia Woods and Orlik Golden Sliced. If you've got it, 50-50. A 50-50 cut is the way to go. But if Virginia Woods is tough to get, so if you do get a tin, you might want to dilute it and go sort of 1 tin of Orlik Golden Sliced to half a tin of Virginia Woods, make it go further. That's actually smoked quite quickly. I'm way past the halfway mark already. I could quite easily say there's a drop of Latakia in there. But there isn't. But it's that kind of... It's got that bit of savoury spiciness to it. Right, let's make some space. Mix that with a Sutton. I don't think so. Oh, let me show you the new chuck. So on Friday, I got a Record Power chuck, which is an SG3, which is quite a bit lighter. You can see that the back is hollow. It's quite a bit lighter, and the lathe, just to me, when it spins a lot more comfortably. I don't see any wobble on that. That looks exactly where it's supposed to be. This is the Robert Sorby one, and it's a hunk of metal. It weighs a ton. At least now, I'm now the next pipe I'll do. We'll see how it all works, and if it works well, I can send back the Robert Sorby and get that checked out and repaired. But if that carries on running sweet, I don't think they're made as well as the Robert Sorbys. They're about 2/3 of the price. So We shall see. So this is where we're up to. I've taken off the heavy briar, and we'll just carry on as normal, sanding it, and we'll see how we go. The only difference is that the whole thing has to be sanded. I've usually sanded the rim and the shank on the lathe. So it's a little bit more of a delicate operation to make sure that I don't mess anything up, any of the straight edges. But if it works out and the briar holds out and no serious flaws, it should be a nice lightweight pipe. Okay, I'm going to set down the pipe. For me, the flavour is there, but the base tobacco is not good enough to my palate to carry it. If the base tobacco would be sweeter, a little bit more of a nice Virginia sweetness, it would work better. So for me, at the moment anyway, the loose cut is certainly better. But it'll be worth experimenting, mixing the two together. But I would say, somebody asked about them aging. This has probably got a better aging prospect than the loose cut, because this has got less aromatics in there, and the longer that you leave aromatics, the worse they get after a certain amount of time. After a few years, the aromatic at a